Aloha familia. Blessings on blessings to you, and thank you for tuning in to this incredible festival with me today. It's such an honor to be holding space and sharing for this beautiful Don't Block Your Blessings festival. Thank you so much to Arezu and the beautiful team for just allowing for me to share and to be here with you right now. So to anyone who's tuning in now, if you're tuning in later, be sure to go check out the full music and healing and art festival on don'tblockyourblessings.org. So, complete vulnerability. I'm a little nervous right now, but it's beautiful. It's all perfect and divine. My name is Jameson Stevens, and I am so grateful to be here. And before I jump right into this session, before I share a little bit about what to expect, what you think you might be receiving, let me just ground us in. So if you're watching live, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. And if you are tuning in later, you're still here. Your energy and spirit is still here in this present moment with me right now. So let's take a few deep breaths together. Let's inhale through our noses and exhale side out through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale side out. Again, inhale through your nose. And exhale side out. One more. Inhale through your nose. And exhale side out. I'm going to open this space with a little bit of a prayer. If you feel called, join me. Be open to receive. Be open to open a new perception, receive a new perception, whatever it may be. Thank you to everyone everywhere who have co-created the conditions for us to be right here, right now. Thank you, life, for gifting us this opportunity to share breath together, this opportunity to live on this beautiful planet together. And thank you for broadening our minds to greater perspectives than they were yesterday. Thank you for bringing more love into all of our lives, more peace to our beings, more harmony to our bodies, and more peace and love throughout all of our lives. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, welcome to the How to Adopt Yourself session. As I mentioned, my name is Jameson Stevens. I am a very proud adoptee. I'm a product of an open adoption, a domestic adoption here in America. And right now I'm tuning in, sharing live with you from our beautiful home in Jackson, Wyoming, in front of this beautiful sacred space, this altar my husband and I co-created together. And I really felt called to just sit here in this beautiful space, this space that I pray before every single day, to really come from this beautiful energy and share that with you. So today, what to expect, what you might receive throughout this next 45 minutes, hour or so session with me is really some guidance on how to adopt yourself. So to me, adopting oneself means how to see, how to accept, how to trust, and how to love who you really are. The you inside, the deep inner you, the inner being, the inner child. And how to accept our adult selves for not always showing up the way we want to. And being okay with that. And taking the medicine from that experience and learning to grow with it instead of, shaming, blaming, or guilting ourselves, being hard on ourselves for just our life experience. So I'm going to get into a little bit about myself. I'm going to get into a little bit about more what it means to adopt yourself, why I'm focused on adoptee healing, and also bringing some guidance and support around shifting from victim consciousness into self-empowerment. And then I'm going to go into a beautiful channeled hypnotic Reiki-infused meditation that I'll be guiding you through. So, a whole bunch was just said. I'm just going to take it one piece at a time. So a little bit about me and how I got to where I am today to be sharing this beautiful space with you is I was someone who really struggled with how I was feeling in life. I went through a deep, dark depression around college time, just after college, where I really I got to a point within the depression that I could understand how someone could choose to take their own lives. Now, I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't there at that crossroads, but I got dark into a deep enough dark space where I saw that option came through. And it was that moment and within there that I really was like, I love life too much. I'm not about to do that. And through a series of different events, through different support receiving from other friends, from family, I was able to shift out of that. And I was able to grow into loving who I really am and embracing life for what it is, even when I don't like it at times. And within that growth, I began to really see how beautiful life is. And so for me, it was me going through that darkness to bring me to the light. And this beautiful, beautiful festival of don't block your blessings, allowing ourselves to really think about what blocks do we have up? Where are we limiting ourselves? Where are we limiting something beautiful that might be coming through to us? And for me, it was all about perception. So as I go dive deeper into this, anything I'm about to say is my chosen perception. Now, everyone has validity in choosing their own perception at all times. And the thing is, the full truth of life is the totality of all of our perceptions as humans and all of the perceptions of the universe. So I welcome you to listen to what you like, let go of the rest, and allow yourself space to contemplate or move through anything that does come up. And when things do come up for us, it's not always comfortable in that moment, but in that moment, we are gifted an opportunity to turn the lens back into ourselves and look at ourselves and see ourselves and acknowledge ourselves and accept what's there and know that that moment is a turning point for us to grow and blossom and feel and experience more light in life. More light being more peace or more harmony or more love, whatever it may be. So thank you for being here. Thank you for having an open mind and an open heart and being open to whatever may unfold in this beautiful session. Now, what does it mean to adopt yourself? As I mentioned, for me, adopting oneself means seeing who we are, accepting who we are, acknowledging who we are, trusting who we are, and loving who we are, who we have been, and who we are becoming. Prioritizing oneself. You know, a lot of times in life, especially with the society we live in, especially in the societal conditioning and programming that's bestowed upon us, we don't always prioritize ourselves. And so for me, over this course of time, between my deepest, darkest time until now, it was learning how to prioritize me while honoring those around me, but still coming home to myself. And so over the years, along my journey, along my spiritual path, through my awareness of consciousness and my expansion through consciousness, through moving through past traumas, through going through all this healing, whether it was therapy, hypnotherapy, Reiki, whatever practitioner, whatever medicine I was receiving in whichever form, it was reminding me that I wasn't addressing one of my biggest, deepest roots, one of my biggest traumas. And for me, that was a trauma I didn't even remember. It was a trauma that happened when I was born, the moment I was born. So for me as an adoptee, when I started to realize, wait a second, I've gone through 10 years of therapy. Why am I still feeling the way I'm feeling? It was right in front of me. I wasn't addressing my adoption. And I also didn't have the support of people who understood what adoption means to the adoptee. And so it was that turning point for me when I realized, wow, I need to talk to more adoptees. I need to see what's going on, if they feel the same way, and how I can express myself and look deeper within and actually acknowledge the feelings I've experienced for most of my life of not feeling seen, not feeling heard, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, all of these things which led to some codependent relationships. And so it was in my mid to late 20s was when I really started exploring those feelings and those emotions and seeing that thread of those feelings and emotions and experiences coming back to the root of the issue. And that was the separation I experienced from my birth mother at birth. Now, I have been given such a beautiful life, so many amazing opportunities, and I'm so grateful for the beautiful, loving family that I was adopted into. And life can look perfect on paper, but deep within, we still might have disharmony. We still might have fears of abandonment, fears of rejection. And so for me, it was unpacking that and really allowing myself to sit with that, knowing that I've had the greatest life I could have ever imagined. I've had the greatest family, the greatest support, but I neglected to acknowledge that as a child, I still had fear around someone knocking on that front door and saying, oh, we're gonna take Allie back to her real family. And so that fear, that little disharmony, that distortion sat within my body, within my being, because it wasn't being addressed. That anxiety, that turned into anxiety, that turned into these other things, until I got to the core of that, until I let myself fully experience that and move past that. And that's the challenge of it. That's the challenge of being committed to a healing journey, is letting yourself feel the discomfort. And so for me on this path, I realized, why can't I find an adoptee coach or mentor or other practitioner that understands the trauma of adoption? I couldn't find what I couldn't find what I was looking for. So I eventually became what I was looking for. So the past few years, I have been mentoring adoptees, holding support groups, and then started going into hypnotherapy and Reiki. And so now I have bundled all those beautiful things together into what I am now. And that's why I focus on adoptee healing, because for me, I wasn't able to find the support that I needed, so I created it, and I co-created it with other adoptees. And I'm mainly bringing this up today because in 2 days we have Adoptee Awareness Day. And Adoptee Awareness Day started, I believe, about 20 years ago. And the importance of it is really to give adoptees a day to remember those that have taken their own lives because they weren't able to face their trauma of adoption. Adoptees are 4 times more likely to be challenged with addiction and alcoholism, and they're also 4 times more likely to commit suicide. Now, if some people in society don't even know about adoption or don't even know an adoptee and aren't aware of this, so that's a beautiful opportunity in 2 days on October 30th for us to bring more awareness as adoptees ourselves, for us to come together in greater community, and then also for other people to be a little bit more aware of what it's like growing up adopted, what it's like never seeing a blood relative or seeing someone that looks like you, feeling like you belong. And so that lack of belonging I experienced, although I had the most loving family, I still felt deep within me this lack of belonging. And that lack of belonging ended up moving into victim consciousness. Now, I didn't understand what victim consciousness was for so long. I had no idea. I thought I was being a strong, independent, beautiful person, dealing with what life would gift me, whatever life experiences were coming. And it wasn't until I started to really understand how society has molded us into, people who are more focused on our 9-to-5s or being busy or accomplishing something or making a certain amount of money or, getting married and having kids, these goals. It wasn't until then that I really came back to like, wait a second, is that what brings me happiness? No, it didn't. And over time, being okay with letting go of those societal norms and conditioning and programming. Because the thing is, if we aren't happy ourselves, what's this life? Happiness comes from within us. And the beauty within that is we are the ones who choose our happiness. Now, that's a much easier sentence to say certain days and less other days. And that's the thing, that's the beauty of life, is that we're going on these waves. We have these waves coming. And as these waves come, the highs and the lows, the ebbs and flows, if we're able to stay buoyant and just keep riding, just keep surfing, love will flow better, life will flow better. And no matter what challenge we face, we'll still persevere. So some of our basic human fundamental needs really include being seen, heard, understood, loved, and accepted. When we're in victim consciousness, we don't always think about these human fundamental needs. And when we're in victim consciousness, we tend to perceive life in a certain way. We might take things personally. We might get upset or activated or triggered. I use the word activated instead of triggered because it's more trauma informed. So just to explain. And when we're in that, we're kind of in this little hamster wheel going. And there's a really simple yet powerful shift in perception that happens from victim consciousness into self-empowerment. And that beautiful shift is really simple. It goes from a perception, when you're in victim consciousness, is life is happening to me. These circumstances, these things, they're happening to me. Why is this happening to me? Asking ourselves that all the time. Why is this happening to me? Can't I just be happy? Can't I? It's all happening to me. And when we're able to shift a little bit out of that and be a little bit more empowered in knowing that we have choice of how we perceive the world outside of us, we can then step into life is happening for me. And within that for me, we can stand a little bit taller. We can stand a little bit stronger. Because we're now aware of like, wait a sec. It's not happening to me. It's not all coming to me. It's gifting me things. So the dark depression I experienced, it gifted me a way to stand up on my own 2 feet. It gifted me a way to take a step. One step, just one step forward. It gifted me that encouragement, that motivation, that inspiration, that was my darkest moment. And I'm going to keep going from there. Now, within that, the fear does come up of, is there going to be a moment when I get that dark and deep and depressed again? That's totally there, but it's the awareness that, okay, that's a fear. What is fear? Fear is false evidence appearing real. So what happens in the mind is we think, oh my God, I'm in fear. I'm fearing this. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I have anxiety, whatever it is. I don't want this to happen. But it's not real. It's the mind and the ego letting us know that there are different options on the table. Given a circumstance, this might be an outcome, this might be an outcome, this might be an outcome, this might be an outcome. And some of that shifts into the fear of, I don't want this outcome to happen. I'd really prefer this one to happen. But if this one happens, I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle that. The mind spirals. Now, coming back to victim consciousness. When we are in victim consciousness, or when we are in that kind of energy field, that kind of state of realize or feeling like everything is happening to us, the mind connects to the being, and the mind basically brainwashes us to thinking that the mind is us. And the ego also makes us think it's us, when in reality, we aren't our minds. We aren't our egos. We're the observer. We're the observer witnessing the mind, the observer witnessing the ego, the observer witnessing all of it, and the human coming back to our hearts. So to jump back into the simple yet powerful shift in perception, it starts with life is happening to me. Then we can move into life is happening for me. And with the for me, we take more action, more inspired action towards experiencing the life we actually desire. And then we're able to move into life is happening through me. Things come through me. We act as the vessel. Because as humans, we are of earth and we are of ether. We are of astral. We're the perfect in-between between earth and heaven, or earth and ether, whichever you may believe. And as that perfect vessel, right in between the groundedness of Mother Earth and the ether of Father Sky, we're right there. And so things come through us. Ideas, thoughts come through our minds, but we are not that thought. We are not that idea. And it's remembering that we aren't our minds. So if an activation were to occur, if the ego were to get hurt, and in that moment we might feel like, oh my God, I'm so hurt, I'm so upset. But is that actually our inner being? Is that our heart? Is that our inner child? Now, there are times that it can be our ego connecting to our inner child, because our inner child may desire to be seen more. That's something I've been experiencing lately, is that there are things happening in my life from the external coming towards my being, my ego having a response, and then me realizing, okay, this is my ego acting up. I'm not my ego. My ego's here. Okay, I can come back into my heart. I can let my ego know there's nothing to fear, because fear is false evidence appearing real. There's nothing to fear, and come back into my heart. I'm here. We're safe. It's okay. And within that, we're able to disconnect from the ego. We're able to disconnect from the hurt, the pain, and observe it all. So when we're in this observing state, we're letting things happening through us. We're being a channel. We're being a vessel. And we're not attaching or identifying to certain things. We're not identifying with the hurt that we're interpreting, when really it's the ego being hurt. The ego wanting safety. The ego wanting things to be the way that ego wants things in a world we cannot control. So when we're in this stage of things happening through us, there's so much more flow. There's so much more flow. And the thing is, when we're in these beautiful human life experiences, we're always going to have challenges. But it's how we choose to perceive them that affects our lived reality. So we're in this life is happening through me stage. And then we're able to take even more self-empowerment and really lean into life is happening as me. And when we get to the life is happening as me, that's the beautiful interconnectedness, the oneness with the universe, the oneness that all that I am is all that you are, and that I am just a mirror of you, you are a mirror of me. And it's for us to choose to look within and go deeper and connect to our inner being, connect to our inner child, and remember that we aren't the mind, we aren't the ego. We're pure love. And the beauty within life is happening as me is a surrender. The surrender that there is nothing I can do. I know nothing, I just perceive everything. And when we're in that life is happening as me, life is just happening. I'm just here to experience it. And my soul chose to incarnate here just to learn. Now the thing is, in this human life experience, no matter how many years I've been doing these practices, there's always things that come up. Sometimes I shift back into victim consciousness and I'm aware of it, and I move out of it with different tools, but it's just letting ourselves experience whatever we need to experience in that moment. And knowing that whatever that moment is, it's perfect, even if we want it changed. So for me, learning how to adopt oneself is accepting our shadows, accepting our traumas, without attaching or identifying with them. And as we live, as different circumstances come our way, we see more of us. We see more of us in other people. We see more of us in certain circumstances. We respond or react in a way that we might not be proud of. And so it's within those moments, if our shadow does come out, if we do have a trauma response, if we are projecting onto someone we love, how can we accept that moment and acknowledge the part of us that needs to, coming back to our human fundamental needs, how can we accept that part of us and acknowledge that part of us that isn't feeling seen, or isn't feeling heard, or isn't feeling understood, or isn't feeling loved, or isn't feeling supported? Because if we aren't feeling any of those 5 things, if we're in misalignment with one of them, it will come up externally in our external relations as a mirror for us to come back to ourselves and say, okay, I'm going to take a sacred pause. I'm going to take a time out. Let me come back to myself. What part of me am I not seeing? What part of me am I not hearing or loving or supporting or understanding? What part of me is screaming out for attention? And this is something that society doesn't teach us. This is just lived experience for us to learn and grow along the way, and to honor that sacred pause for being perfect and for being the perfect door that opens a whole other world of perception. So when we're in that shadow or we're in that trauma response, to pause, let our bodies, let ourselves fully feel that experience. Bathe in that experience, that discomfort, that disharmony, that distortion, whatever it may be, that fear. Let ourselves be there and breathe. When we breathe, we come back to beautiful connection right here. We come back to the core of our vessel. And when we take that breath, we can come back to our hearts and come back to be the observer of whatever's in front of us, the observer of what's happening in our minds, the observer of what's in our mind and where our ego is, and then come back to our hearts. So a really beautiful practice that I do around transcending our ego is one, as I mentioned, it's just the awareness of, especially in the moments when we're feeling hurt or sad or upset, to pause and feel into, okay, where's this coming from? Am I really that upset that someone sent that email or someone said that thing? Where am I responding from? Am I responding from my heart? No, not right now. But how can I get back into my heart? So when the ego does arise, and it just does, to be okay that it's arising, but to not feed it. So we feed it with our thoughts, and thoughts are energy. Everything's energy. So the second the ego arises and we feed it with thoughts, encouraging it, we go into this other mind spiral. We go into future tripping, whatever it may be. So it's when the ego arises, it's to think, okay, wait, that's not me, that's my ego. How can I bring it home? How can I bring it back into my heart? How can I breathe? Just take a few moments and breathe. Breathe within that self. Then you'll come back to your heart, and then add that little activation, whatever it may be, that escalation of energy, that charge. It'll suddenly come out of that chaos and back into peace and harmony. And from there, we can then choose to respond. And it's gifting us that sacred pause. One of the greatest lessons we can learn is how to continuously have a sacred pause in life, in our relationships, in our communications, in our experiences. Is how can we just be like, okay, wait, I'm feeling this in my body rise up, and I'm just gonna pause, take 3 deep breaths, come back to center, feel into the body what's coming up, let it go, let it release, but then also just come into, okay, where's this coming from? So much of the time, we are coming from past traumas. We are coming from moments when we didn't have those 5 human fundamental needs of feeling seen, heard, loved, understood, and supported. And so much of that came before the age of 7, when we were still in development, when we were observing the world and absorbing so much, seeing how other people in our lives were acting and responding and thinking that's what we needed to do. So we started to embody those practices. Neglecting ourselves, neglecting our inner child, our childlike innocence. That's just the societal conditioning and programming. And the beautiful thing is, we are now in a place in life, this beautiful age of 2021, where we don't have to act like that anymore. That doesn't have to be our reality. That's not going to be the reality of the children I'm going to birth in the next number of years. And the beauty is there are communities and people who are shifting that together so that we can create containers and spaces for children to stay and live in their childlike innocence for as long as possible, for them to be around conscious parents that are, instead of us projecting our traumas onto our relationships with our children, we can pause. And we can look at them as the wise leaders that they are, the wise teachers that they are, and say, oh, wow, you're teaching me the lessons. I'm just here to support you and nourish you so that you can teach me. And so I'm really honored that I am part of a beautiful nonprofit that is doing just that. We are creating sacred space for communities to come together. And I didn't mention this earlier, but the beautiful nonprofit is called Blue Light Heals. You can find out more at bluelightheals.org, and we are in the process of growing a community in Costa Rica, and we'll be holding beautiful healing ceremonies with different healing modalities and just beautiful space for people to come in community. And that's one of the biggest things in life right now, especially since 2021, is people really desiring community, really seeking that support we might not have if we're just living by ourselves in our apartments in New York. Mainly that was me. And that support we might not be feeling from our family or from our friends. As we dive deeper into our own healing journeys, a lot comes up. Sometimes we're not able to speak to our loved ones about it and really share what's going on or what's present. And so that's when community is even more needed, because community creates space for us to feel seen, heard, loved, understood, and supported. So now I'd love to jump into a little bit more about honoring our inner being, which is our inner child, and the trueness of our soul. Now, there are so many times that circumstances of life create space for us to step away from focusing on our inner being, from focusing on our inner child, from focusing on our hearts. And that's okay. But it's important for us to remember to come back to the moment, to come back to the self, and to create space to connect deeper to ourselves, to connect deeper to our hearts, to hold our inner children, and to just be completely fine and okay that we might not have felt held before, but we can hold ourselves now. So before I jump into this hypnotic, Reiki-infused channeled meditation, I do desire to share a little bit about what hypnotherapy is. Now, there's stage hypnotherapy, which most of all of us have seen in some way in capacity, and that is a form of hypnotherapy. That is not what I practice. I practice a very different form of hypnotherapy. And a lot of people, a lot of clients have asked me, well, can anyone be hypnotized? Yeah, because even with stage hypnotherapy, stage hypnosis, if someone is in the audience and raises their hand and to go up, they're already saying yes to whatever suggestions there are from the hypnotherapist. So they're already saying yes. So that is why hypnosis works in that circumstance. Now, with hypnotherapy, this won't be that deep of a session. This is just going to be a little 15-ish minutes. You'll remember everything. That's what's beautiful about it, is the client, the person receiving, remembers everything and can choose to come in or out of theta, whatever it may be, and you can do that at any time. And hypnotherapy, my teacher has always said, hypnotherapy is meditation with a goal. And so our goal with this hypnotic meditation is to connect you deeper to your inner being and your inner child. And so let's just take a few deep breaths together. And then I'll start channeling in this beautiful, beautiful meditation, whatever it may end up being. So go ahead and get comfortable. If that means sitting down, if you want to sit down on the floor or on a chair, on a couch, or on a bed, if you want to lay down, whatever it is, just go ahead and get comfortable. Maybe get a blanket, just get cozy, and get into a beautiful space with yourself. Okay. And play a little bit of a sound bowl to ground us in. Hopefully you can hear this well. Never know with technology. Now as you're sitting or lying down, just go ahead and feel the support of the ground beneath you, of the chair beneath you, whatever may be beneath you. Just feel that support. Feel that connectedness from where you are all the way down onto the surface of the earth. And feel that connectedness from where you are all the way down into the center of the earth. Feel that support, that beautiful support from Mother Earth that is always there. With every breath we take, she supports us. With every step we make, she supports us. No matter how we choose to show up in life, she supports us. This beautiful unconditional love she has for us is profound. And know that every day in every way you are always supported by the ground beneath you, by Mother Earth. She is always here for us. So go ahead and take a nice, deep, letting go breath. Already beginning to relax both mind and body. Relax the top of your head. Relax your forehead, smoothing out any creases. Relax your eyelids. Relax the side of your eyes. Relax your temples. Relax your cheeks. And place your tongue at the roof of your mouth, pressing gently, releasing the jaw, creating some space between your teeth. Now this allows a beautiful relaxation to occur throughout your whole body, letting your body know it is safe to relax. Relax your jaw, relax your neck, relax the sides of your neck and the back of your neck. Relax your clavicle and your shoulders and your shoulder blades, all relaxing deeply and gently. And relax your arms all the way out through the fingertips. Now as you reconnect to your breath, notice how much more relaxed you are. Feeling that beautiful inhalation through your lungs and your belly. And letting go of any tension you might be holding anywhere in your body. Breathing in, creating more space for relaxation. And exhaling, letting go of anything that no longer serves. Relaxing your chest and your ribs. Letting your belly hang loose. Relaxing your hips and your sit bones. Relaxing your legs and your knees and your calves and your ankles, all the way to the beautiful relaxed toes. As you take some more inhalations, breathing in more relaxation, breathing in more comfort, breathing in more safety, feeling the support of Mother Earth beneath you. Just letting your body go into a calm, relaxed state. Now on this beautiful journey together, I'm going to guide you to a safe place where you can connect to your inner being or your inner child, whichever you prefer. All you have to do is relax and allow whatever will come to just be, knowing that whatever comes through is what you're ready to receive. Letting go of any judgment, letting go of any analyzation of what you might experience. Just letting yourself observe, letting yourself witness. So now I'm going to count you down to go into a beautiful safe space. This safe space is yours. In whichever form it may appear, that is correct. It can be a beautiful beach, or a lake, or a meadow, or the forest. It could be the comfort of your own home or another place entirely. Whatever it is perfect for you, and it is perfectly safe for you to relax. 10, taking another nice, deep, letting go breath. Relaxing, releasing, and really letting go now. 9, and as you continue along, you find that the deeper you go, the better you feel. 8, the better you feel, the deeper you go. 7, and you know relaxation is a habit. It is something you can become good at. 6, in fact, you are becoming good at that habit right now. Relaxing and letting go. 5, the beautiful energy of white healing light flowing through you, relaxing you, releasing you. And as we continue along, you may find that your mind simply drifts and floats. And yet a part of you, the unconscious part of you, the subconscious part of you, easily and effortlessly continues to focus on every word that I say, even as your conscious mind begins to drift and float. 4, drift and float. You're doing very well. A part of you listening to every word that I say, focused on every word that I say, even as your conscious mind begins to drift, and your body and mind completely relax. 3, almost there now, getting closer to your safe place. Going even deeper. 2, trusting what comes. And 1, be there now, in your safe place. Notice what it feels like to be in your safe place. Feel in all of your senses the comfort and safety and support you can experience right now in that safe place. Feel into if there's anything you're seeing, hearing, smelling. Know that you can touch whatever is there in your safe place. And you can taste and smell anything there too. And allowing yourself to feel into that comfort and that safety, that support of being in your beautiful safe place. A place that is perfect for you, where you can relax deeper. Relaxing deeper into yourself. And now when I count down from 3 to 1, your inner being or your inner child will appear. Whichever you call forth is what's perfect for you. In whichever form they may appear is perfect. 3, going even deeper. 2, trusting what comes. And 1, see before you what you've called forward. Witness and observe the inner being, the inner child, the deeper, greater part of your soul. In whichever form it appears, that is correct. Let yourself observe and allow yourself to get curious. Go ahead and ask in your mind's eye or out loud any questions you have for what's in front of you.